Okay, thank you, Channing. So the last portion of the claims package after the claims form, the declarations, the standard release, and then the lien declaration would be the supporting documents. So the four before were filling out forms, adding your information to it. These are the documents that are going to back up what you said in your forms and how you filled them out. We're going to introduce attorney Teresa Bingman to walk us through the supporting documents.
Thank you, Beth, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for hanging with us through this process. We know that this is a lot of information to take in. That's why we will have the slides available online for you to look at. And we also want you to know that we are available to answer questions for you and to help you as you prepare for the actual claimant process. So part of the claims process is, making sure that you have the documentation to support your claim. You may recall that the attorneys beginning back in January reiterated that you should start gathering information and documents to support your claim so that you won't feel overwhelmed when we get to this point. So we still don't want you to feel overwhelmed. We want you to take the information in and start gathering the documents so that you will be prepared to file your claim. We will go over the different types of information that you will need to gather, beginning with the proof of exposure. So for the proof of exposure, for categories 1 through 27, those are the personal injury categories, you will need to have a water bill that is in your name for each residence or business that you have lived in between April 25th, 2014 and November of 2020. That will be the evidence that you will use to support your claim. For the minors, we will need the school record of attendance between April 2014 and November 2020 that shows the address of the school or your minor child's name and address. Also want to state for this category, if there are college students who do not reside in Flint, but who attended school in Flint at a university or some type of training in Flint between April 2014 November 2020, you will also need your school record to demonstrate your enrollment in college or the training during that time frame. Also, a proof of exposure is a daycare invoice or a letter from an employer verifying your employment, or a check or pay stub. Any of those will work. We have the tax return highlighted in blue because that is one way that you can definitely prove where you have lived each year. So between 2014 to 2020, if you have your tax return for those years that demonstrates where you have lived during those years, that would be proof enough. Or we could also use a deed to property that's located in Flint during the relevant category exposure, or a deed, lease, or mortgage statement. And you would need this for each residence or each business where you are claiming damages in this settlement. Also, proof of exposure, same categories, 1 through 27, the personal injury categories. Any other documents that reliably show your address and your exposure to the Flint water during the specific time frame. So there are lots of different ways to prove your exposure with the documentation that we just went over. For categories 28 through 30, you would need a water bill in your name or the name of the business during the exposure period. Again, the tax return is always a reliable proof of exposure. And again, a deed, lease, or mortgage statement for Flint property in your name. Medical records. Sometimes when you hear, medical records, I need to secure my medical records, that could be intimidating, but don't let that intimidate you. It's easy to obtain medical records. You simply place a request with your healthcare provider, and the medical records will be provided. If you receive Medicaid benefits, there will not be a charge for you to obtain your medical records. So please request your medical records if you need to use those to prove your claim. If you've not visited a doctor for any of your ailments or anything that you've suffered as a result of the water crisis, the medical records would not be your proof. But you have, if you have gone to a doctor and there's a medical record to establish what's going on with you, you would need those records. And we have given some examples of different types of ailments that would be relevant whenever you look to file a claim. Test results. We know that not everyone has taken a blood lead level test. However, we do know that the individuals who have taken one, the state of Michigan has that information that they will be providing to us. But we are still asking you to request a copy from whatever lab or whatever healthcare provider you use to take the blood lead level test. Be sure to request that in the event the information from the state doesn't come through for you in the way that we expect. If you know you've taken a blood test, please request that test and have it available. The cognitive deficiency test for minors, if there has been a psychological examination, a neurological examination, we would need that information, need for you to present that information to support your claim. And then we know that there were a number of home water tests that were performed. You will need that information as well. I left the bone lead test for last because I would like for Ted Leopold to provide some comments regarding the latest status of the bone lead test.
Thanks, Teresa. Let me reiterate a couple of things that have been said and done beautifully by both Shannon and Teresa. I don't want you to feel like you're going to be on an island filling out all this paperwork. It is complicated, it's complex, it's not easy, and we're going to be there to do whatever we can do to help you in any fashion we can to fill this documentation out. So I don't want you to worry about that. Specifically as it relates to blood tests, Teresa is correct. We hope to have over the next few weeks a list of all individuals that have had blood tests taken. But if you know that you had a test taken, the best thing you could do is to go get a copy of the results of that test, whether through your primary care physician, wherever you had it done. If you can get a copy of that, that would be the best thing you could do. On the issue of bone testing, that process has ended. It is highly unlikely that there will be any opportunity to get bone lead tests performed anymore. So that is why we are emphasizing as much as we can that if you did have a blood test taken, please get a copy of it. We are looking at doing some other type of examinations dealing with some other issues. We hope to have more information about that in the coming week or two, but specifically related to the bone testing, it is highly, highly unlikely there will be any more bone testing that will be taking place. But with that, Teresa, I don't know if there's anything else you needed to reference.
No, that is really good. Thank you, Ted, for that update. Appreciate that. Regarding the legal authority information that you will need to gather is if you are completing forms on behalf of a minor child, you will need to submit the birth certificate for the minor child. We do know that many of you have already submitted birth certificates through the registration process, but be sure to have that available in the event it's needed again for this particular process. If you are completing forms on behalf of a decedent, someone who has passed away, and you are the representative, the personal representative for that individual, you will need a copy of the death certificate and the estate papers that have been filed in probate court that names you as the executor or the personal representative. And if you're completing forms on behalf of a business, make sure that you gather the certificate of incorporation and tax records from 2012 to present. And if you don't have your certificate of incorporation, that would be on file with the state. And that's something that we could help you access as well. As Ted said, this is a lot of information. Please know that we are going to be here to provide guidance, direction, and any information that you need to help secure the supporting documentation that's necessary for the claims process. Technical support will be provided during this process. The claims administrator is the Archer organization. You should know this name by now because you have been having some business with them in terms of the registration. You receive the registration package from that company, but this is their telephone number if you need information related to the claims process from Archer. And their website is here as well. That is great information that is on that website. And if you contact Archer, and you're still unable to sign in to access your account, please give us a call. This is our number that's listed here, 866-536-0717. And finally, we are here to help. We have individuals who are present on Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our office that is located at 1188 Robert T. Longway Boulevard, which is very close to the Holiday Inn Express. And we have not only staff on site, there's a supervisory attorney on site. Trishelle Young is here with us this evening. Attorney Cynthia Lindsay Moore is often at the office. There's Cynthia, who's here with us this evening. And Channing is at the office from time to time, and so am I, as other attorneys who are there. But the supervising attorney is there every day along with staff, Taylor McLean and others who are there at the office. And some of you on here, you probably know these names as well as I know them because you do access our office and we want you to continue to do that. Our email information is listed here, as well as the website, FlintWaterJustice.com. We try to keep it updated. So finally, we want to invite you to visit our office. We all want the very best outcome for each of you. We are here to help you complete your claim forms once the claims process begins. And finally, we recommend that you make an appointment to the office when you receive your claim form. Some of us were at the office during the final days of the registration, and some of you on the line know about the lines that were in place. Cynthia is shaking her head, she was there. And we want to avoid that as much as possible. So once the claims process opens, please make an appointment. Please don't wait until the last week or the last day. We want to make sure that you get your claim filed, and we want to make sure that you have access to the documentation that you need to support your claim. And with
Thank you,
that,
Teresa.
yes.
I'll take over and close us out here. So thank you to Teresa, thank you Channing and Ted and Trishelle and Cynthia for joining us this evening. There's our contact information again. Our next town hall, we will be scheduling for July 8th of this year at 6 p.m. Register online. The link will go up later tonight on our website, FlintWaterJustice.com. I see there is one question still pending in Q&A, so we will not end this Zoom until all the questions are answered, but we will post those questions and answers as FAQs up on the website. Okay, that has been answered there. So again, thank you all for joining us. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out through email, through phone, or at our Flint office. So thank you and have a good evening.
Hey everyone, stay safe.